Welcome everyone to Defender for Cloud in the Field. For all of you that are coming back to this channel, to the Microsoft Security channel, and specifically for this playlist, thank you very much. If you are not a subscriber, make sure to go to the link below, aka, and subscribe to our playlist and to the Microsoft Security channel. Today we are going to have someone that has been in the show many times, so it's always a pleasure to have our friend Gal Fenigshtein in our show. Gal, thank you very much for being on.
Thank you so much for having me.
And every time that she is here, she brings something new. So that's the good thing, because you know that something new is being released because Gal is back in the show. And today we are going to talk about file integrity monitor capability and what it changed, what it is, how it works now. How is this integration with MDE? So before we go deeper into this topic, I realize that some of you may not even know what really FIM is. So let's start with the basic. What is FIM, Gal?
Yeah, I think it's an important introduction, and thank you for that, Yuri. So FIM stands for File Integrity Monitoring. It's basically our security solution to validate the integrity of critical file paths, registries, and system files in a goal to constantly monitor them and track changes that may indicate on an attack. So basically, FIM can help you with two main goals. The first one is the security. FIM is a very important layer for securing files and registries. And by constantly monitoring file changes, we can help you to identify an attack that is originated in a file alteration. For example, an unauthorized user that reached out to a system file that he shouldn't get to, or an attacker that trying to track his tracks by deleting logs that indicates his moves within your environment. So this is a very important control in terms of security. The other goal of FIM is to help you to be compliant. FIM is considered as one of the main controls that required in many regulatory compliance standards such as PCI DSS, CIS, NIST. So by having FIM, you can ensure that you will be compliant with these standards out of the box with our new FIM. So yeah, it's very important security control. Our new improved version is available within Defender for Servers Plan 2 offering.
Excellent. Thanks for the overview about the solution and about what it is. For Microsoft Defender for Cloud customers that have been using the product since the old days of Azure Security Center, they will realize that FIM is not something new in Defender for Cloud. It's been there since the beginning of the journey. So what is really this new version of FIM, and what really changed behind the scenes?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So first, why do we release new version for FIM? So for that, I will need to give you some background about some of the latest changes and transition within Microsoft and Defender for Cloud and Defender for Servers specifically. So with the MMA, Log Analytics Agent deprecation, we as Defender for Servers announced last year about new simplification strategy with a goal to simplify the onboarding to our product, remove as much dependencies, external dependencies as we can, and really make sure that the onboarding is simple with less prerequisites. So as part of this strategy, we are aiming to provide all our security capabilities using a single agent, which is Defender for Endpoint, MDE, or with cloud native capabilities and agentless scanning capabilities without any dependency on either MMA, Log Analytics Agent, or AMA, which is Azure Monitor Agent. So FIM is one of those capabilities that previously relied on MMA, on log analytics agent, and sort of granted to have the benefit to be redesigned. So in the last year, we worked very hard to provide FIM over another agent, over MDE, and keeping the core essence of the constant real-time monitoring for file changes while also enhancing and improving FIM, providing it as a new feature based on different infrastructure and including additional improvements as well.
Excellent. It's the news of having one single agent is so important, and I'm so happy to see that come to fruition. And what are some of the improvements provided by this new integration of FIM with MDE?
Yeah, so another great question. So as we really kept of we've tried to keep the new solution as much similar as the previous one, but we also enhanced it and took it as an opportunity to improve FIM and take into consideration also customers' feedback. So there are several improvements. I'll mention only a few of them. The first one is the built-in out-of-the-box support of compliance standard. With the new FIM is now included in our regulatory compliance blade. You can be marked and checked as compliant within the PCI DSS and additional compliance standards just with having FIM deployed on your environment. Another important improvement is the ease of onboarding. Now that FIM is available through our integration with Defender for Endpoint, MDE as an agent is the only prerequisite that is required to have for you to have FIM. It is natively integrated within this integration, what will make customers' life easier with onboarding and integrating into their currently security controls. And the last one is the one that we constantly received as a feedback for the previous FIM experience over MMA, and we added the new metadata about the change. We added information about the source of the change, about the account who made the change, the user who made the change, and also the process which initiated it. This is very critical information that can very help in investigation of attacks, of an incident that originated in file changes. This is information that can really change investigation. And
well, I think that this also answers partially the question about the difference between the old and the new, because you just mentioned a bunch of improvements. Do you have any other thing that you want to highlight between the old FIM versus the new version?
Actually, yes. There are two differences that it's important to highlight, and these are regarding to the onboarding to the new FIM. While the previous FIM based on MMA was enabled on a workspace scope, the new FIM over MDE is enabled over a subscription scope, enabled with the rest of MDC controls, but it might cause a challenge or complexity with migrating between those two experiences. Additional element within it is that in the previous MMA-based FIM, the data, the events of the file changes were stored in the same workspace that used for the onboarding, while in the new FIM, that is enablement, the enablement scope is a subscription. Customer will need to choose to define the specific workspace that will be used for the data storage. So these are the main differences that I think worth highlighting. Yeah. And this will be also the focus of the migration guidance that we just released.
Hey, talking about that, because I imagine that customers that are using the old version of FIM and they are planning their migration to the new FIM, they are also wondering if there is any tool to ease the migration, if there is any guidance. Is that something that is already available?
Yes, so with the FIM GA released, we also released the new migration in product experience that will support exactly in this scenario, and will help customers to migrate between the MMA-based FIM to the MDE-based FIM. And within this experience, customer can first view their affected environments, meaning machines or subscriptions that currently onboarded through the legacy onboarded method using MMA, meaning the current environments that have the previous FIM. They can export their rules, view the previous experience, and finally they can migrate those environments to our new FIM based on MDE as part of Defender for Servers Plan 2 subscription.
And this is already fully documented, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This will also be included in the upcoming blog.
Awesome. Okay. In any case, I'm gonna share here a link for the documentation, so you can quickly jump into this document if you need more information. Is there anything else that needs to be done after enabling FIN over MD?
Yes, actually, we do recommend in this, when we're talking about the previous FIM and the current FIM, there is a period of time that those experiences will be available side by side. We are letting customers migrate from the previous one to the new one between now until the MMA deprecation final date. So once you finalize your migration, the enablement to the new FIM, we do recommend to remove the old FIM, to disable the change tracking solution or extension from your workspace. And if you use the FIM based on MMA, we also recommend to remove the agent. First, by disabling our auto-provisioning settings from your subscription, and second, by removing the agent from the machines. Log Analytics released a very useful utility for doing it at scale.
All right,
Okay.
Great explanation, Gal. Thank you very much. I would like to see some demo. Do you have a demo ready to show?
Yeah, for sure. So let's start actually with how do you enable the new FIM. So I'm here in the settings of my subscription, choosing the settings of Defender for Servers. And we added in here file integrity monitoring FIM as a new extension that you can enable by clicking on this context blade will be opened. And in here, this is an important stage because in here you're supposed to first define the workspace that you are willing that the data will be stored at, and second, choose the specific configurations, the specific file path and registries that you want us to monitor for you. So this is the workspace definition. I can choose different one. And here is the list of the monitored entities that we are currently monitoring as a built-in, as a default, all marked as default. So you can choose whether you want to exclude ones. The ability to add new customized file path is currently not available, but for sure will be added to this new experience. Once you finish, you click apply, and as the regular settings, continue and save. Those configurations will be saved, and within tops 1 hour, you can see the events already ingested into your workspace. So this is the first experience of enablement. Going to the experience of monitor the changes that already captured on your environment. So I got to FIM new experience through our workload protection blade and clicking on FIM. So in here you can see sort of an aggregated view of all the changes happened in all the selected environments. Here I have 6 subscriptions, and you can also see the resources that the changes occur at and the subscription. By clicking on a subscription, you will be able to see all the changes occur within this subscription, and the information included the files that changed, the sort of the change, whether it's remained, modified, deleted, and so on, the file path, and additional information about the change. If you will click on a single resource, you will see the same information on a level of granularity of a single resource. In addition, we have here the setting experience. You can see all your selected subscriptions and whether they have all the prerequisites required for FIM. So the prerequisite, as I mentioned, is you should have the Defender for Service Plan 2 on your subscription and MDE enabled. So in this subscription, I have all the prerequisites, but in here I'm missing MDE. So I need to enable MDE, and then I can make sure that FIM will work as expected. So this is the setting blade. And the last one is the migration experience. You can see that from FIM and also from the environment settings, you can refer to the new migration experience. This is an overall migration experience that helps customers to migrate the relevant environments to the relevant best practices toward MMA deprecation. We will focus on FIM. So clicking on FIM, I will see in here all my subscriptions that have machines that are connected to the previous FIM based on MMA. I have here 2 subscriptions that have machines that currently have MMA-based FIM. There is a situation where 2 workspaces or more will appear in here if the machines in the same subscriptions are connected to different workspaces that have FIM. So I will choose one of the subscription and click migrate. You can see that I have a total of 40 machines within the subscription, but only 2 of them is configured to FIM and connected to 2 different workspaces. So in the first part, I can review the machines and see what are the machines and the workspaces that they are related to. In the next step, this is the migration part. And here I have 2 workspaces that I need to choose. The first one is the one that I want to use for the rule importing, meaning this workspace is the one that I will choose the rules from. Like you can see in here the rules that are defined for this workspace, and if I'll choose this one, all the rules in here will apply on all the subscription, on all the machines that are part of this subscription. Another important column in here is per rule we have an indication whether this rule can be migrated to the new FIM. Rules cannot be migrated from 2 main reasons. The first one is quality improvement we've made. We did remove some of the file paths that were built in on the previous FIM and considered as not false positives or not relevant anymore. The second reason is there are cases that customers added their own rules. This scenario is currently not supported, but is part of our future plans for this feature. Okay, the second workspace we need to choose, we can use the same one or choose another one. And this one is the one that will be used for the data storage, meaning all the events that are collected within the new FIM for these monitored entities will be ingested to the default workspace that I choose in here. I can choose another one if I want to. And that's it. Here is the reviewing all the rules that will apply to all my machines within the subscriptions. It's important to say that currently only 2 machines are connected to FIM, but the new FIM will be enabled on all the 41 machines. It is with no additional cost. By clicking on migrate, we will apply all the rules on all the machines in the subscription, and then you can move to the new experience.
All right, Gal, this was really good. Thank you for putting this demo together, not only to show the experience in the look and feel of the new FIM, but also to give a glimpse of the migration. Very good stuff. Thank you very much. This was a big journey. I know that you've been working on this for a long time, you and the entire team, so thank you for bringing this to fruition. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
As always, I'm going to put here the link for the user voice, just in case you have feedback. Make sure to share the feedback. Of course, troubleshooting issues that you may have during the migration, you should always open a support ticket. Thank you very much, Gal. I truly appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Always good to be here.
All right, everyone, this is a wrap for today's episode. Once again, thank you for our audience. Make sure to subscribe to the link below. Get to our playlist. We have so much more to come. Stay tuned.